Hey, everybody. Welcome to Real Talk for Coaches, the podcast where we explore the trends, techniques, and transformative power of coaching. And today we're decoding the different coaching credentials, focusing on the International Coaching Federation, which I am a member of, and how it stands out from the Board of Certified Coaches, the European Mentoring and Coaching Community, and the International Association of Coaches. I am Dr. Dawn Reid, your guide on the journey, alongside my co-host and my kumbaya, my buddy, Coach Will. And together we'll help you navigate the credential landscape to elevate your coaching career.
Hey,
Howdy, sir.
what's going on?
What's going on with you?
I know I'm all right. I still didn't make my grand entrance yet, but I'm building up to it.
I want to see you do the singing part. The singing part.
Now let's just move on then. Let's just move on. You want to keep your viewership. You want to keep your
I want to
viewers.
keep the view. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. So I'm excited about this because I get a lot of questions about the differences between the credentials and the differences between the different organizations. So I will always tell people I am biased. I am biased toward ICF. I started with ICF in 2018. And I always say I drank the Kool-Aid. I am the poster child. I love ICF. I love what ICF stands for. I hope they never break my heart because I'm just going to be so sad. However, but we are going to talk about it. I'm going to try to be as objective as I can. But I
Okay.
did want to put out there that I am biased toward and for ICF. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be transparent.
Okay.
But
All
before
right.
we get into that, a little bit of just checking in, just see
Well,
how things are going.
things are going.
Yeah, they're
Things are
going.
going. I haven't hit the lottery yet, but they're still going.
They're still going. But you know what? They didn't stop. So
No.
going is good.
Yeah.
Going is very good.
Yep. How
Likewise,
things with you?
going. Oh, we just got one of our classes credentialed, so I'm very
Very
excited.
good.
Yeah, bravo. So our sex and intimacy class. If you want to be a sex and intimacy coach.
You're trying to be an adult.
I'm being grown and
You
sexy.
being an adult. You doing grown things over there.
So I'm excited. So one, it earns 23 CCEs.
Okay.
So that's
And
a
we just
nice
talked about
chunk.
that.
And
We
we
just
just
talked
talked about
about-
that last episode, right?
Yeah.
So it earns 23 CCEs. And so it's great for recertification. And we go through the competencies and ethics with it. And we really dive deep on, how do you show up as a coach and you have those conversations around sex, intimacy, relationships, dating, divorce, marriage, polyamorous relationships, like
Mhm.
whatever was going on in your life, how we have conversations and coaching around it.
Right.
So excited about that. So that's fun.
That's good. That sound. Don't forget to record it down. Mark it down. Make sure you keep track of it. You know.
So for those of you who have not listened to the last episode, he's kind of getting on me for not recording my coaching hours and all that good stuff.
I would
So that's
never
what
do
this is
such a
about.
thing.
He's judging me, y'all. What did we say? We listen and we don't judge.
I didn't say that. You said that.
Moving right along, we gonna get into this topic.
Okay.
Good sir.
All right.
So understanding the ICF. So I'm going to start with ICF. But before I start, tell me what thoughts do you have? What questions? Because I know you was looking forward to grilling me on this. So go ahead.
Yeah. I ponder a few things. I just ponder. Since you're an ICF, you're an ICF. So what made you, like, after you looked into it all, what made you want to say, okay, I'm going to go with the ICF versus the other three?
I'm trying to really think what got me into it. Let me go back to when I first started. Really, it was referred to me, to be honest with you. It was ICF was referred to me, and I looked at the New Jersey chapter and I looked at the Philadelphia chapter. And so within my circle, it was kind of like, you know what? Why don't you check out the chapters, yada
Right.
yada. Why didn't you think about being credentialed? Because once I decided I wanted to become a coach, I started doing research and what did this mean? And so ICF kind of was the main one that popped up. I didn't even
Okay.
know about the other ones,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And so I started going to their events and I went, oh, okay, let's do it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
So the three main levels, three credential levels, and they're ACC, PCC, and MCC.
Mm-hmm.
Now, are you all three of those? I just gotta pick your
So
brain.
technically, I am the PC's. So I was ACC.
Mm-hmm.
I am now PCC.
And what is ACC?
So ACC is your associate certified coach,
Okay.
right? And
Yeah.
then your PCC is your professional certified coach.
And
And your MCC
MCC
is
is
your master
master.
certified coach,
Right.
right? And so it's different levels, and each one is distinguished between how many coaching hours you have. Like at the ACC level, you only need 100 coaching hours. PCC, you need 500 coaching hours. And at the MCC, you need 2,500. And at the last segment, I said I only got a little over 1,800. So, yes. So, those are some of the distinctions. Also, some of the distinctions is how you facilitate the coaching process, meaning how the core competencies and your ethical standards are showing up in your coaching practice. And I'll talk a little bit more about that as we go through the conversation. But these are the things that distinguish you between those three levels when it comes to ICF.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. And the other thing was just a test I wanted to see. You passed. You passed, by the way, the ACC, MC. Just a test to see if you
I didn't
if you
even
knew.
study, but
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Look at you.
Be
You
giving
good.
people pop quizzes.
Hey, that's what we do around here. The other way though. Not to me. Not to me. Not to me. I fail everything. Yeah.
Okay. So one of the questions I do get, I get the
Mhm.
question a lot of like, what's the difference? So the International Coaching Federation is one of the oldest self-regulatory bodies. As I've shared before, anybody can wake up in the morning and say, oh yeah, today I want to be a coach, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the ICF started the foundation of there should be ethical standards. There should be core coaching competencies. There's a way that we as professional coaches should show up in the coaching session. And so I think they were founded, and forgive me if I'm wrong, I know it's the mid to late 1900s, like 1998, 1995, 1998, somewhere in that range. And then other organizations started popping up too. So some of the other ones that I'm familiar with is the Board of Certified Coaches, which actually I'm considering joining. And I'll
Okay.
tell you why. And then there's the International Association of Coaches, and then there is the European Mentoring and Coaching Community, a consortium. I always get that last C wrong. Please forgive me if I got it wrong. But EMCC, and they did start in Europe. So that's why it's called the European,
Right.
because they started in Europe, and there is a particular way in which they facilitate the coaching process.
Right.
So I just wanted to be clear about that. So with that being said, those are the different ones and what makes them different. So ICF really focuses on standard. They all focus on standards, but ICF is the leader in the standard and the competencies and making sure that we as coaches have sort of some type of regulation.
Okay.
Right? Because there isn't one. Like for
Right.
therapists and teachers and lawyers, there isn't one. And so
they kind of set the standards.
Exactly. Whereas the Board of Certified Coaches, which I love, I love their concept. They focus more on the psychology behind coaching. And it really started out with sort of coaching within the therapy field, and they focus on mental health coaching, which I'm a certified mental health coach. And so I said, ooh, it behooves me to join BCC because I do believe in the psychology of coaching, not just the ethics and all that good stuff.
Right.
That has to be there. But I think there's a lot to be said about the cognitive, the neurodynamics, the brain, the mind-body connection, the therapeutic part of coaching that other bodies don't necessarily focus on. So that gives you the BCC, right?
Okay.
And then IAC, they really focus on training. Like their whole thing is, how are you developing? How are you training? What are you doing? Right. And like I said, EMCC, it formed in Europe, and they too focus on standards and development, but it really focuses on a more Western cultural approach to coaching. I think that does open up the opportunity to look at other cultures and how their philosophical views also impact how coaching can be facilitated. And so I think that gives us a great emerging market, right, to create additional organizations. So that's something to ponder for another day.
Okay.
So that gives you a very high level, simplified way of understanding the distinctions. Of course, Google is your best friend. You can always search it
Or
to
your
get the
worst
more.
enemy.
Or that is true too.
Yeah.
That's true too. I go down rabbit holes all the time, but anyway.
Yes.
But you can also go to their websites. You can learn more about their philosophies. You can ask ChatGPT. Like, I definitely say, if you're exploring different organizations, I think it's important to investigate which one you feel works for you. Another thing that I love about the ICF is that they have a chapter in over 140 countries.
Oh, wow.
And they have over 50,000 members. Yeah.
That's a lot.
You think? I'm telling you. And the support, the camaraderie, the friendships, the opportunities are it's unreal. So again, I'm sorry, people, I am being biased. I'm just telling you my personal experience. And I've heard people say, oh, I'm not active in the chapter. I don't care what chapter or what organization you decide that you want to be part of. In order to benefit from any of the organizations, you have to be part of it. Like, you have to do stuff in it. The only reason why I think I'm having such a great experience is I talk to people at Global. I talk to people in different chapters, not just my chapter, which is the Philadelphia chapter. Woo, Philadelphia chapter. Woo!
Y'all won
However,
the Super Bowl.
woo! Oh yeah, they did. The Eagles.
Yeah.
See that? Stop it. Okay. I'm sorry, y'all. Shenanigans. No, but yeah, I love my chapter. Like, I love my chapter. And I love the other sister chapters too. I enjoyed my New York chapter, my DC chapter, my New Jersey chapter. So I get to and have had the opportunity of facilitating training and coaching and mentoring in the different chapters. And so you have to be involved. You can't just join up and then do nothing.
And then sit there. Well, I'm a member, and you're saying there, well, are you involved? Did you attend this? Did you get involved in that? No.
Yeah.
But I'm a member.
But it's your member.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people, like, I've had other coaches come to me and say, well, I didn't really like it. I didn't get anything from it. And I'm like, well, how many events did you attend? Oh, I haven't had time. Well, how many training did you attend? Oh, well, I didn't have time. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, you can't, if you're not
dedicating the
Right.
time to it, you can't say, you have to at least try it.
Mhm.
You have to try it, and if you don't like it, if it's not for you,
That's okay.
yeah.
That's why there's other organizations. You can always see if
Yep.
there's another organization that work for you. Again, I do plan to join the BCC because it does align with my philosophies on psychology and coaching. Most of my work, my research work, a lot of my articles deal with that cognitive psychology or cognitive behavioral approach to coaching. And I think that that's important. I believe in mental health and coaching. So I think that's going to align with that piece, because I don't necessarily get a lot of that from ICF. ICF, don't beat me up. I'm just being honest about what my experience is. Maybe somebody else's experience, something different. I don't know. But I'm just saying, I haven't seen it, and I would love to see it. I would also love to do more research work with ICF or BCC. So, like, those are kind of like the things I'm mapping out in my head of what I want to do. But I say all that to say that there are different organizations, and I think it's important for people to explore.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And one thing about, as far as what you were saying, people not getting involved, and people, well, I didn't like this or I didn't like that. I know in our last segment we talked about, I made the analogy of having that one particular person that may be able, because me and you could go into something and we could be talking about the same exact thing. I may just explain it differently than you're explaining it to, and somebody may grasp, at least somebody may grasp it a little differently coming from you
Mhm.
than coming from me. And they be like, oh, well, Coach Dawn said this and I got it, because she said it X, Y, and Z way.
Mhm.
Whereas, and you may have to try different things. You may have to go like I don't know, like you're involved in many chapters. So you may have been to, hypothetically, don't come for me, everybody. But you may have been to the chapter in New Jersey,
Mhm.
and then you heard them talking about something that, then you heard your chapter in Philly talking about the same thing, but it's just the way they explained it may have made it a little bit more clearer, maybe. I don't know, but
I think what I'm hearing is that you may have a different type of experience because how things are presented or
yeah,
facilitated is different based upon chapters. I
or people,
believe, or
people,
people,
yeah,
and that's true. That's true because even the leaders of your chapter could make the experience vastly different.
mm-hmm,
Like
mm-hmm,
I know when I first joined, the president that was there, I loved him. Matter of fact, I'm pestering him to be my MCC mentor now. I want him to mentor me so I could get the MCC, but that's a whole nother conversation. Um, and so loved him, and then my mentor and the next president like loved her, like she took the chapter in a wonderful direction.
right,
So like even the leadership of a chapter can make the difference in your experience.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And so the same thing would hold the organization in which you decide to be a member. You can have a different
yes,
experience because the leadership, the tools, the resources, the events that they have just resonate with
exactly.
you.
That's what I was
Yes.
trying to.
Yes. And chapters do that too because you would think I would be part of the Jersey chapter, right? And it's a great chapter. Please know it's a great chapter. But again,
They gonna get you.
they don't get me. I know, and I'm hard to get.
They gonna get you.
They're gonna get me. Oh, they're gonna get me.
Mm-hmm.
They're not gonna. How you put that in the
Okay, no,
universe?
go ahead, go ahead. They not gonna get you.
I love Jersey chapter. I love y'all. You know I love y'all. I love y'all. But I love Philly. But anywho, I say all that to say is that it is important for you to explore. So I would explore events. I would explore
Right,
trainings of the
right,
different organizations. I would explore their chapters because even the thing I loved about just the ICF since the pandemic, a lot of things are still virtual. Like you can still attend certain things virtually. And I love it. And I think when you see virtual things, it is important, it's imperative for you to go and attend. Just because you don't live in that region doesn't mean you can't be part of that chapter.
mm-hmm,
Right. So I say go where you feel you can bloom. And again, I know I'm biased toward ICF, but I still say go to those other events that the other organizations provide because I think that'll give you the opportunity to see what works for you. And I want to mention this real quick before we move on. Um, ICF and MCC are part of a bigger conglomerate. Oh my gosh, and I can't
the Global Coaching and Mentoring
mentoring
Alliance.
alliance.
I was about to go there
Yes.
next.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
I was
see,
I was
we're
about to I was about to
aligned.
bring that up
We're
next. Yeah,
aligned. I love it.
and ask you about that. Yeah,
Yes. So I want to mention that too, because every the major bodies got together and said this is what the ethics are, the standards are, and they're working together, which is a good thing. And I would like to see more of the other organizational bodies come under this alliance too because I
right.
think it creates a standard and I think it allows coaches to have a bigger resource to tap into to make sure that they are aligning their coaching practice with these standards. And then it's the same across the board, right? Like we are all expected to have the same standards and the same ethical practices because this is how we're being regulated as coaches.
Right.
So I think that it's going to be a good thing for more people to join the GCM.
GCMA.
There you go. Thank you. Um, so yes, I wanted to put that out there. They are the larger governing body to just make sure that everything we do in our industry is aligned, and
So
I am for it.
they're kind of setting the standards
That all
somewhat.
so it's like the big conglomerate, right?
Right.
And then you have the other bodies underneath it.
Okay.
Yeah. And just to be clear, it's to professionalize the industry, to clarify and educate stakeholders about effective coaching and mentoring practices, and to promote good practices and their wider societal impact. That's what the GCMA does. And then the other governing bodies kind of report in up to that. That was the idea. And all this is voluntary. You don't have to join any of these organizations. You don't have to be part of any of this. However, and the idea though is to really be taken seriously and not be the person that woke up and said, I want to be a coach.
Right.
It is good for you to be part of these organizations in order to really govern your practice accordingly.
Okay.
Yes, sir. What other questions you have for me as we start to
I think we
wrap up?
covered a lot in a roundabout kind of way, and we touched on a lot of topics that we actually had outlined for today. Because I was going to say, like, how do you go into choosing the right path as far as your credentials? But I think we covered that more in the beginning because you went over what the different organizations are for. How do you choose? Well, I'm trying to think of the right words because I'm like, how do you choose the path that you want to get on? Is it like almost like, okay, you know what? I think I want to do this, so I'm going to go here. Or is there any way that you can like, okay, you're starting here and then you're like, okay, when I get to this point, that is a definitive point of saying, okay, when I get here, this makes me say, okay, I want to go to the ICF route or this route or that route.
I really think it depends on the philosophy and the approach that resonate most with you, right? So again, in starting out, what really resonated with me with ICF, not just the supports, but the standards. I if just my previous life, I did a lot in the pharma world, and I did a lot with regulations, and I did a lot with quality. So standards make sense to me. Ethical practice it's just second nature because that's what I did for a living, right? And so the philosophy of that is the focus. That is the approach, the emphasis of core coaching competencies, the standards that drew me to ICF, right? But as I started to as I got my PhD in psychology,
Right.
I started looking at the BCC because again, they're rooted more in psychology. They're rooted more in mental health. And since becoming a certified mental health coach, that has been much more, I think I want to be part of BCC too. You could be part of all of them. There's nothing that says you got to pick one over the other. You could pick this one and that one, right? So keep that in mind. The EMCC, still learning about them. So, I still want to research. I still want to understand them. I don't think they're too much different than ICF because they also focus on the competencies and ethics. They have a broader perspective of how you integrate mentoring and coaching in your personal and professional development. And again, I'm a personal and professional architect. So I want to understand that piece. The part that I think is going to be important to me is how will that impact or that approach coincide or integrate with other cultures.
Right.
Right. And so that's the piece that I want to explore when it comes to EMCC. And then, like I said, with IAC, They are more about how do you master your skills? How are you continually growing? Again, all of them resonate with me. They all have something that I think is important and worth exploring. So but again, for me, the two that really I'm attracted to is ICF and BCC.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
So again, I tell people just to explore and experiment. Go to events. International Coaching Week is in May, if I'm not mistaken. I think it is. It should be because it's been May for the last couple of years. So yeah, it should be in May.
That's right around the corner.
That's right around the corner. I used to chair the ICW for ICF too. I love that. I loved it. It was so much fun. Anyway, I digress. My ADHD is kicking in. But no, I think International Coaching Week is an amazing time to go and explore the events because they're free. They're not charging during International Coaching Week. Go check them out because that also gives you the opportunity to see, is this organization right for you?
Right. It may help you determine which route you want to go.
Mm-hmm.
Things of that nature.
Yeah, so that was really a good conversation, and thank you so much. We had the opportunity to explore the different bodies that govern the coaching industry, the different credentials that you can apply for and attain, and again, just continue to explore to see what works for you. And I would love to hear in the comments or on social media, wherever you follow me and Coach Will, let us know which chapter or which organization you belong to, and we would love to hear what your experience is about. All right, and until next time, we will talk to you guys later.
Yep.